you know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
If you felt warm and fuzzy while watching or listening to any of that, you just felt nostalgia. It's that feeling that you get when you hear an old song or pick up your old lunchbox. It can pretty much be encapsulated in the phrase the good old days, and in most cases it is just that, good. More and more as our lives are constantly changing, with us moving across the world, going to a new school, or even getting a new job, a longing for the past has become more commonplace than ever before. After all, change is hard, but the past is a familiar, safe place. Seeing this opportunity, companies like Disney, Coca-Cola, and Spotify use this goodwill to increase profits. But the growth of this nostalgia culture could have serious effects, leading people to believe false memories and become lonely through fake relationships with their past selves. But to start looking at these effects, we have to understand what nostalgia really is. First of all, everything from the past isn't nostalgic. Look at these photos. Which of them are nostalgic to you, and which of them not so much? You'd probably say Mickey Mouse is nostalgic, Legos might be too, probably an iPod, and maybe a few other things. But the rest of the things just aren't that nostalgic. A light switch probably doesn't really bring back many memories, and neither does the American flag. That's because nostalgia comes from unique things that aren't around today that we have specific memories associated with. So when you see your old friend, or hear an old song, or even smell a familiar smell, those nostalgic feelings will emerge. Disney is the king of using these triggers. All throughout their parks they have things called smellitizers, which literally pump out nostalgic smells into the air. Not to mention, they also line the streets and rides with childhood characters and songs. But those thoughts they provoke aren't always good. Picture your childhood home. The first things you might think about are sitting on the couch as you were a child watching your favorite cartoons, or maybe you remember the basketball hoop on your driveway where you hung out with your best friends. Overall, your view of the past is probably pretty positive, which is why we like nostalgia so much. But your memories are lying. In 2002, researchers set up a study to find out how accurate people's memories really are. They took a group of people who had never been on a hot air balloon during their childhood, then they photoshopped a photo of the participants from elsewhere into a hot air balloon. You'd expect all of these people to either say that's fake or I don't remember that, but half of the participants just made up stories and believed they really did go on a hot air balloon. This study illustrates how easy it is to manipulate our memories. Most of the time our brains do this to sort of shelter us from painful memories. This ability is a great thing to help us not fall into crippling depression, and the reason some people are so depressed is because they can't get rid of these old memories. But if we always look at life with these rose-colored glasses, we evade the hard truths of life. Instead, we fantasize over what used to be, and some even try to bring it back to life, but only a Sith can do that.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Every year, over 150 million people go to Disney parks around the world. For most people, the step into childhood memories and nostalgia is a quick and healthy getaway from the struggles of the real world. But for others, Disney uses the tempting allure of collection to take advantage of nostalgia.
I do have an obsession with Mickey Mouse.
In 1993, someone paid $22,000 for a seat from the Dumbo the Flying Elephant ride in Disney World. Not to mention, gift shops greet you at the exit of every ride, so Disney can cement themselves as a nostalgic memory guaranteeing your return. This isn't just happening at Disney either. Mattel, the company who makes Barbie dolls, says they have 400,000 adults who spend over $1,000 a year to remind them of their past relationships and experiences. Some see this collection of nostalgia as a failure to properly engage with one's past. Instead of reminiscing with friends and trying to create new memories, others try to collect all the memories they had and relive them, but neglect to make new ones. This state of mind effectively shelters them from the world, making them stuck in the past alone. And it ultimately romanticizes the good old days to a point that the only thing people really want to do is go back.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign was a prime example of this, where he promoted the idea of returning to an idyllic past where America was apparently greater.
I love the old days, you know? You know what I hate? There's a guy totally disruptive, throwing punches. We're not allowed to punch back anymore. I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. And we will make America great again. God bless you and good night. I love you.
America probably wasn't much greater than though. Society as a whole has been constantly evolving and improving living standards for everyone over time. In the past, African Americans were segregated. Now they aren't. Of course, today isn't perfect, but we still can't go back. So the best way to use the past is to ready ourselves for the future. This commercial is a perfect example of how nostalgia should be used.
This is the summer. The summer of this. The summer that summers from here on will be compared to. Where memories will be forged into the sand and then hung on a wall for years to come. Get out there.
Instead of promoting going back to the past, it urges the viewer to make new nostalgic memories which can foster relationships instead of cutting them off. So when you go to Disney, it's okay to buy things, but don't just buy for the past, but buy for the future. This way, nostalgia can be used as a way to see how far we've come, but also how far we still can go.